Right, I thought I'd better pull up and do a bit of filming, so I haven't done any on the XC in some time. Where are we at? Well, we finished the relay box. We've drilled the holes for it. I won't be able to mount it till I'm up on the hoist because the spring guard's in the way. I'll point it out tomorrow. So we're about ready to put the battery in. We've got a battery. So I don't think I'll name every wire, but unfortunately I'm still going to have 5 connections to 6 to the positive side of the battery, despite putting the relay box in. A lot of that's just to do with the Holly insistence that they are connected directly to battery, so I don't want any bloody problems with them. Been thinking about these 2 feed lines, which I nicely crimped and heat shrinked. I'm going to modify them because I've got these 2 fuses here. So the battery will sit here, 2 crimps onto this, and then what we'll do is make up an Anderson plug. That'll make life pretty simple. It'll look pretty good, and you should be able to sit it down here. So the 2 fuses and the Anderson plug, blah blah blah. I'll work it out, but it should look all right. I've got to work it out exactly, but we've got enough real estate, I believe, or maybe we don't. Might have to go the other side here. I've got to think about it, but essentially that's what I've decided to do, because the Anderson plug makes a really convenient disconnect point. I've already got one inside the car, so continue the theme. Obviously it's starter wire, earth wire to the donk, earth wire to chassis, these ones, and then where's the other earth wire going? No, they'll just yeah, gotta think about this. No, that'll go to the battery. In fact, we'll put both of them to battery. Change your mind. Won't put it to chassis. What's the point? Put it straight to the battery, because they feed looms anyway, so why wouldn't you, Blue, you idiot? Holly wiring looks messy, but it's okay. It'll be right. That's oil pressure, that goes tack. Anyway, getting a bit boring now, but I'm always boring. And the alternator loom is in here somewhere. A lot of this will just get wrapped up and zipped away. These are superfluous, or superfluous, no, Blue, surplus. Surplus, sorry, a bit tired. Surplus wiring, so they'll just get neatened up. But at the end of the day, I've put the loom back together. We're wired into our switch for our aircon. We've got a brand new receiver dryer there, made up a plug, a bit of bi wire for the wash bottle. Still working out what to do with the overflow bottle because it's just yellowed as buggery and I don't know how to clean it up yet. I've seen some stuff on the internet, but all vinegar and rice and all wacky things. I think I'll just buy a new one. Put oil in power steering pump. Got to put oil in the engine tomorrow. It's always a good thing. We've got fuel in the tank, and we can't smell fuel, and we're not dripping, so good. And put a fair whack in. It's got about 35 litres in it. Did run power through here. Got all the lights to work, so the relays are working. The stereo works. So fundamentally, I think we're happy here. I'll get everything working before I actually bolt the thing in, but this is where we're at. So it's come a long way. Everything's labelled, so you know, correctly on each relay. I buggered that up, it's back to front. I don't know, had a blonde moment. I had it the right way and went, oh, then I've turned it around and made it wrong. Idiot. So they're the sense wires in, they're the power wires out. Look, they're messy in behind. I'm not going to pull it out, but it's just a bunch of wires. Just got to tidy all this up. Like I said, the headlights, I had them all plugged in. Just got my battery charger, not my charger, my battery booster box, and everything seems to be working. Hallelujah. So tomorrow we'll put her in the hoist. because I need to put it up on the hoist again. And I'm hoping tomorrow we'll get a kick along. This is full of oil, and wow, I'm surprised. I thought this might leak, this bloody thing, but it hasn't. So hallelujah, and no leak from that one either. So good. So that's progress. So you can see now where the wiring is going to end up. It'll end up really neat and functional. Still a bit to go, but fundamentally we're now wired up. We're pretty much plugged up, all just loose, like I said, but got to go through the fine details. But things were just in place just to sort of put them in play. And if you make a wire too long, like here's one here, I've made it too long, and you want to wrap it up, you know, it doesn't matter if you have a bit of surplus wire. So just fold it over on itself and tape it up, because let me tell you, they did that 40 years ago, and some of those wires are still in the car and they work just fine. So anyway, that's what I do. I think that's it. I think it's time to go to the pub and have a beer. It's Friday night. Anderson plug. I should have kept filming. Idiot. So this is an Anderson plug, and these are the connections that go inside them. And the way I do it is blowtorch, solder, put the little joiners inside in the vise, heat it up, and you'll just fill it up with solder. I'll literally just fill it up till it's almost full of solder, and then just simply plonk it in and let it cool down. That's how I do it. I'll show you the end result. I did buy a headset for the GoPro, but I haven't had time to set it up yet. Yeah, that's probably a nice length there too. That'll go good. And then we'll heat shrink them as well. Same as what I've done the other end actually. These were hollow, these ones. So this is to go into the battery end. So what I do is put the wire in the vise, another way to skin the cat, and really heated just the tip and let the heat soak come through, and then just kept pushing the solder onto it until I could see that, oh yeah, it's soaking into the metal. And when it just poured out the bottom of this seam here where my thumbnail is, then we know that we're full of solder. So that is a really tough joint. That's not going to come apart. So again, I'll just heat shrink that, and that'll be it. Sorry I don't have two hands, but that's the technique. Get your blowtorch, heat them up, fill it with solder, let it just melt down, careful to only go in, and then shove your wire in. That's it. Righto, stage one, pretty happy with that. So what I've done is just a flat bar of steel. Obviously it's just sitting there for looks at the moment, and I've just modified it so it just curves into the manifold there, and then little notch here is got somewhere really firm for the thing to butt up against, so the cable's got something to pull against. So this is what's left of the old one from the IMCO days. This is going way back now. Probably not. Righto, major problem. So we're going to come to a standstill pretty much in the engine bay now, because this bloody radiator, yet again, as stated before, I ordered this 2.5 years ago at Summer Nats, or 2 and a bit years ago, from Aussie Desert Cooler to fit an XC Falcon. When I finally opened the thing up, it was nearly a year later, I realised that the mounts didn't fit. This thing's way too wide. So I rang up old mate, and he sent me a couple of extrusions, aluminium extrusions, which fit across here. You get rid of these, and then I guess you screw the extrusion to the body. Useless. I didn't see the point in that. So I went to all the effort of modifying the original ones to fit in. Now we've got another problem. This thing is not usable. At the end of the day, it is not bloody usable. Even when I've got the other bracket in over there nice and tight, there's not 4 mil here. It's just too tight. And then, even when you've got it pulled in as hard as you can, I don't know if you can see the aircon belt down here, it's actually touching the motor. Getting it squeezed in as best I can and over to the left hand side of the car here, it doesn't clear. Here's another problem. You can't lift the bloody thing out, you can tell I'm annoyed, without pulling the battery tray out. So we're going to get a situation then, the intention is to drive this car around the country. It's not just a show pony, we want to drive the bloody thing. So I bought a very, very expensive radiator, which is now $1,000 dead hole. Not happy. I'll ring Aussie Desert Cooler up. It's Sunday today, I'll ring him tomorrow, but I don't expect much joy. The thing is over 2 years old, even though it's never been used. It might be good for a drag car or someone that doesn't have aircon, and I can't imagine that the original York compressor, you know, would have worked as well, but maybe it does. I could be wrong, and it could just be my fault because I've got a standard and 508 mod, and this is the problem, you mod things. And right, a mailman turned up, so possibly some good news for me anyway. Trying to get to where I'm going here. This radiator core, the Aussie Desert Cooler, is about 90. This one here is about 70. So, if we were to transpose the thermo fans off this one to this one, because, additionally, these thermo fans are smaller, and they're about 80. About 80. But these buggers, and because the shroud they've used, better than 100. Sorry about that, talking and not filming. So, it doesn't matter which way I go. If I put these fans onto this radiator or these fans onto this radiator, the overall length of this one, which is too damn big, will be 20 mil shorter, which means it can go into this XC. Fortunately, I bought another XC, the XC Ute. So, and it needs a radiator. That means I haven't thrown $1,000 down the tubes. I can rescue this disaster. Now, I'm figuring if those thermo fans are going to be good enough to cool the car anyway on that smaller radiator, well, on this 5 core, this is a 3 core, this thing's a 5 core. It's huge. So it's still going to be overkill. It doesn't matter what we do. They'll do fine. They're already cut in and shrouded, good to go. Well, there we are. Problem has now gone away. We've got plenty of clearance, so we can now proceed. Now, just while we're still on the subject of radiators, and by the way, the Aussie Desert Cooler fans have been modified and they fit to the other one. I'll use, like I said, the same hardware to fit it back up. Rather than reinvent the wheel with this shroud onto that radiator, all I did was just line up this shroud with the radiator and use the existing holes and hardware that they'd used in the first place. Because rather than invite trouble and try and drill again through the shroud, slip with the drill, you could wreck the core. So didn't want to do that. This was a better method, frankly. Well, not better, safer. Speaking of safe, I've been advised by mates who are motor mechanics, been doing it for a lot longer than I. I'm not a motor mechanic, I'm an aircraft engineer. That even though I've had the block chemically dipped and I dipped the heads as well, when you run a new radiator, put one of these in. In fact, put one of these in anyway, especially with an old cast iron block. So it's just a radiator filter. They used to be made in Australia and they didn't used to be Redline, but I couldn't buy or couldn't find anyone supplying me the original version, but this is the same thing. It's got a fine filter, coarse filter and a magnetic pickup in it apparently. and you just sit it in there, and I'll show it later, but it's cleanable, just like the ones on the turbo line, on XR6 Turbo, F6, whatever. A lot of people do that, and I've done that to the Territory as well. So there's $1,000 rescued. What a relief. I'm confident these fans will do the job. I mean, they were going to do it in the other job. At the end of the day, this radiator has got slightly a bigger core. Yes, it's only a 2-core, but it's a massive 2-core. So it'll do the job. We're all good. Righto. Excuse my voice. I've got man flu, and I'm in isolation because of COVID. We're at a hot zone over the weekend, and had to go and get things shoved up my nose like so many thousands of us now. So, when you're in quarantine and you're crook, what do? Play in your shed. So, this will be attempt number 2. I've actually attempted to start on this thing. Oh, jeez. Oil pressure. Sorry, I'm really not with it. Probably shouldn't be doing this, but anyway, I take the opportunities I can. Counterclockwise, 5/16 socket secured with tape. Can't remember if I filmed that last time. Shove it in the hole, oil pressure comes up, done, key on, gauge checks out, good. So, had the timing 100 degrees out. Got my wife, that doesn't matter. We're 100 degrees out, so we had a backfire through the carby, which you could see as a negative bias or as a positive, because 1, the Holly's working, 2, the fuel pump's working, 3, the ignition's working, 4, the starter's working. So, we're just going to flip it around so she's in the right place now, which is up there. When I set the timing up this time, that's where it was, 180 degrees out, which is what I suspected. So I'm just going to put this in now, set it up as close to the mark that I've got, which is 10. There we are there. I don't know if you can see that down there, but it's about 10, maybe 12. It'll be good enough for a start. I'm not going to rev the guts out. We're just going to see if the thing works. Not tightening any wiring up, not doing anything, just not even putting radiator brackets in. It'll stay. Just let's see if the thing works and what leaks we've got. So we'll get on with it. Righto. Accessories, ignition, fuel pump, firing. Fuel gauge doesn't seem to work, by the way. So we should just now, hopefully it'll run. Here goes nothing. Holy smoke. Whoa, that's not good. Okay, we have some mechanical noise. Shit, what's that? Well, the Holly works. What do you reckon, mate? Got an idea? Any idea? Hey, buddy, what's that knocking noise? That's not good. Bugger. That's a shit house, we'll call that. Well, let's give it another kick in the guts and just see what the hell that might be. Not good. Let's do it again. Obviously expect a heap of smoke. I expected all that off the extractors. If that's lifters pumping up, we're in trouble. Crap. Certainly it seems to run all right. I know. Houston, we have a problem. Bugger. It's a roller cam, doesn't need bedding in. That's its first start, so a little turn like that's not going to wreck the cam anyway. Doesn't sound like tappets. Well, give another quick kick. Let's see what the oil pressure looks like anyway. Let's do that. To me, it sounds like flywheel. Hasn't got that classic knock to it. It's certainly, I mean, the start is just amazing. You ever started an old carby car like that? I bet you haven't. That is fair dingham. That's its first starts. Wow. I'm not going to touch the throttle. Holly said there's no need to till it gets to temperature and dry, but we're not doing that today. We're just going to see if the thing works, but straight away we've got a problem. Oil pressure's not real high either. So maybe that's just bleeding through. So let's give it one more hit. I know there's 5 litres in it. Maybe it's just taking a while to bleed through, and I did run it through with a drill, but maybe that's not enough. It's been sitting for a long time, this car. Excuse me. It's definitely got a knock in the engine. Definitely. Fuck. Sorry. Well, let's check the oil level first. Righto. Problem went away. It was the lifters. I've never ever on an aeroplane engine or a car engine seen lifters take that long to pump up. Full 5 minutes, I'd say, of running. Excuse me. So panic over. She's good. She's real good. So what we're going to do here now, just again, I'm still not in full fit mode. I've just put the radiator in. This is after we modified it with the other radiators fans. Running it yesterday afternoon, it got hot enough that the Holly fired the fans. Good. That's out of these two wires, which are negative trigger. We've now got the fuse box, relay box mounted to the car. Hopefully it still works. Did a little bit of a tidy up here. We're still not done yet. Forgot to mention there's the radiator filter assembly into place. So what I want to do now is just set base timing, because it can, that thing needs to know where that one is. So I'm not using that to control that. This has got a digital control amplifier on it. All I'm going to do now is just fire it up and just set the base timing. Righto. Once again, I've been busily doing things and forgetting to film. Just found something. Always get distracted. Sorry. Basically, we're not too far off. So, tied the wiring up as far as I'm gonna. Well, not about as far as I'm gonna go. There's a few little things I need to address. I don't like the loom sitting on the rocker cover piece there. I've got an old lead separator. I'll probably modify that so there's something plastic over that just to cover it. This is how the battery terminals turned out. Again, it's not where I really wanted things, but it doesn't look too bad. Bought these at a Auto Pro, I think it was. I can't remember. But they're I think they're nickel covered copper. I've changed, rather than having a bolt going to this, I had to modify this one. Had to grind this down to get it to clamp onto that hose, that wire, the positive. But it's a lot neater. The negative's quite good. I run another 8G wire into the chassis. There's a heap of terminals on that. Got my wire brush and cleaned up under that nut there to get a really good earth, so it's bare metal. Sprayed it with something. Again, I use lanolin. ACF 50 is a good product. You've probably never heard of it. It's an aviation product. But something just to protect the bare metal that's under there now. And just run a heap of earths to that. I believe you should have a heap of earth. So there's one to the engine. There's another one engine block. There's another one from this loom. There's about 4 off this loom. And it's just a good idea to have a heap of earths. So I've still got to sort out a heap of wiring for lights and stuff like that, as in just placing them, but we're there. Radiator worked out fine. The motor, that's where I was at last time I was filming with this camera. The motor is fine. There's nothing wrong. What it was the lifters pumping up. Now, I've put plenty of bloody lifters and engines in my lifetime, admittedly. They're like Lycoming and Continental. But I've done plenty of camshafts and Clevelands as well, and 6-cylinder Fords, and even a Holden or two. And I've never seen lifters take so long to pump up, and it just ran forever. But she's come good. So I did a bit of adjustment with the Holly. So without further ado, just to set up the IAC, the timing was also out. It was -10, but the Holly compensated for that, and it ran that first go. But I'm pretty happy with this. I think it looks not too bloody bad, actually. Again, it's not a show car, but it's certainly looks good. It's presentable. There we go. Now, myth busting. This is where the overflow bottle will go for the radiator. I've had it soaking in bicarb soda overnight, and I shook it with hot water and bicarb soda and rice, all these crappy things. It does not work. Just letting you know, it did not work. So at the moment, I've just got it sitting in the wash bay. And if that doesn't work, I'll buy some radiator cleaner. Prohibitively expensive to try and find the original overflow bottle. It's $200 for a plastic bottle. Will I do it? I don't know yet. Still got to put the tubing in for the wiper washer. Actually, I should see if that works too. What else we got? Cruise control. So the cruise control mounts to these two holes here. I'll fit that up. And return spring. I've got a return spring bracket in. It's not good enough. When the thing gets hot, it's still not good enough. The arms bind up, not bind up, but they get a little stiffer as the engine gets to full heat. But anyway, put all that aside. We've come a long way. Sorry for the delay, but the rattling, the problem was not a problem. It was just the lifters. They just took forever. Another problem I should mention while we're here that we fixed. Problem number 5052. Put Teflon tape on these. Don't attempt it. I bought Hylamar or Hylamar equivalent from Permatex. Didn't do it. And Loctite M71 or 671, I think it is. Pipe sealant did not work. I'll do this one as well. It's just the vent butt. But it peeled the paint off. We got paint under the car peeling off. This is just paint that's been eaten. Spewing, absolutely spewing. I had that out and sprayed it with the Hylamar. I thought it'd be good. And first test worked. Then once the car was running for a bit, forget it, it didn't work. That's run for about 15 minutes now, and it didn't leak. So, put some tape on. I found on the Holy forums, by the way, everyone does it. It's not in the book. You won't find it in the instructions, but you'll find it on the forums, and you've heard it from me. So, not that I think anyone's actually watching this. Pump running. The Holly fired up, so probably could have started there, and I don't know if you can see over there, but the screen's up, and easy as that. Easy as that. And as you can hear now, there's no tap and noise, the engine's quiet as. The noise you can hear is the IAC, the valve within the Holy throttle body. While the engine's cold, this thing compensates for all conditions. And as it gets warmer, you'll hear it change. Now, the IAC, you adjust this. Now, Holy say, I think 2 to 8%, 2 to 9%. And what you'll see as the engine starts warming up, is that IAC position on this one anyway will just start dropping down. There you go, you can see it's starting to go now. So as we get hotter, that'll drop. I like the fact you get your volts. RPM, cold idle, it'll settle down to 750 where I set it. So you see the IAC's down to 37 now, 36. Now I've done, other than the normal settings, I've done nothing with this. I'm going to change one of the settings to a street strip cam. I think she's a bit lumpy to be considered standard. And it's well over ½ inch lift, so not standard at all. There you go. As she warms up, RPM comes down, IAC comes down, and the thing doesn't do anything to the car in the way of learning until it's at 160 degrees Fahrenheit. I've also got to set the temperature of the fans, but the Holy is also controlling the fans, so they all fired up as well. So sorry I didn't film that before, but you see fan 1, fan 2, AC is not relevant for me. It tells when they're on. Sure enough, they work. So that means the relay box is doing everything it's supposed to do, and blah blah blah. I wouldn't mind changing the scale on this. I'll have a look at that, because I think it's 20 grand. Ridiculous. An 8 grand scale would be more than enough. And as this IAC gets lower and lower in its percentage, it gets quieter and quieter. So as the engine starts warming up, and there's your temperature there. So simple as that. We come around now, and you'll just hear it just gets quieter and quieter. So really happy. No leaks. Yay. Really got no leaks out of the engine. So happy with that. I've got to get the brakes bled today, so the idea is that, there we go, we're not leaking at all now. So I'm going to have to clean that tank up again, give it another paint, clean up that where it stripped the paint off, but we'll get to that and vacuum all the crap back out. But at least now I've got confidence that I'm not pissing fuel everywhere, because we were. She sounds awesome. But I want to get this thing out of the hoist today, so idea is that we do the brakes, the reservoir's full, but I've got to rip the wheels off now and vacuum all the lines down, bleed them through, and then we will get the territory on the hoist. So I've got a shit ton of work to do the territory, unfortunately. Gearbox service, gearbox mount, the front wheel drive gearbox, can't remember the name, but now it'll come to me. It's got to be serviced, engine service.